Hello, welcome to Enter the PC. Is it possible to overclock Ryzen 5 1600 to 4 gigahertz? Let's find out. Alright, so now we're in the BIOS here, and this is for an Asus B350F gaming motherboard. Asus UEFI BIOS, but Gigabyte and all the others will be pretty similar. So in this particular one, we're going to go to AI Tweaker. You can see it's a 1600 core processor, 6-core processor, Ryzen 5, not the X. It's 3.2 gigahertz. That's what that comes down to. So I go over to AI Tweaker, and I go down to core ratio. I'm going to leave this on auto, just because you can set the memory timings to something else. We can do that maybe in another video or something else. But if you wanted to, basically what you could do is change this to DOCP settings, which works very well and has some good timings there, but I'm just going to leave it on auto. And I'm going to change this core ratio to 4, and I find that generally you have to do it just above 4 for some reason for it to register. So as 4 gigahertz. So I'm going to go right there, and then very important, what we need to do is change the voltage. So CPU voltage, this is done by offset mode. So if we go here, we're going to add plus to this. So you're going to have to offset 1.237 volts here to the correct amount. Now, this says a max of 1.72. I would not recommend that. The most I've done that I've heard is 1.425 volts from AMD. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you have other voltages, or if you say you can go higher, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to know. But I personally leave it about that. So we change it from this offset voltage to something else. And what we basically have to do is change the voltage there. So that would equal about what we want. So yeah, let's go for that. Now we're gonna go over to basically that's it. From here, you could also do fan configuration, stuff like that. I already have my fans configured using QFan control, which I recommend just doing fans control from BIOS. A lot of companies recommend that. Actually, EK Liquid Cooling recommends that. I talked to their tech support and they say just use the BIOS to control fans. So that's what I do, and then I'm going to go ahead and save these changes and reset. So that is good and good and good. So we hit it. Alright, so I've gone ahead and rebooted. It looks like it wants to update Steam. That's fine. So if I right click over here and I go to properties, we can tell it is 4.03 gigahertz. Oh my gosh, and it's booting. So that's good, but that's only half the battle. Yeah, it's booting, but can you do anything? Maybe not. So what I'm gonna do is do a little stress test here. And what I like to use is something called, oh, it's already freezing. It's already freezing. It's already freezing. Ha! Well, that tells me right there it doesn't work. Wow. It doesn't work. So no. No with 4. That's fun. My mouse is frozen, see? It's frozen. I can't move it. Alright. Forget that. Okay, so what I did is I used the same frequency. You can see it in this corner. Same frequency settings, all that. But what I did was I upped the CPU fan lower limit and adjusted the profiles to turbo. And I also enabled the AIO pump, which is pretty important. So maybe that'll help. Let's reboot and see what it does. It's booting, it's booting, it's booting. Alright, let's get in there. No. Hang. Alright, I'm gonna call this one a fail. Calling it a fail. So, I'm gonna reboot again. This is what's so great about overclocking, right here. You're in the trenches. Alright, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like when a system is stable. Okay? And what I do is I have a profile saved here. So I'm gonna go ahead and load that profile. So now you can see it's got all the settings. This is DOCP, and it's got the fans going. Very nice. Turbo, everything's on. That's great. And now I'm going to save changes and reset. Yes, you can tell the differences here. And okay. Now we're rebooting. And this is what a stable 3.9 gigahertz overclock is. Okay? Remember, our goal was 4 gigahertz. Oh, it's going to give us you booted incorrectly so many times we couldn't boot. But we're going to basically ignore this and just restart. Say it's okay. We figured it out, Windows. But thanks. It's good they're concerned. That's nice. It's very nice of them. It's booting up. Wow, that was pretty quick. Okay, so here it is, and if I right click, I can see that it's 3.9 gigahertz. It's not 4 gigahertz. But that's okay. So let's go, because a stable system is far better, I would think, than one that doesn't work. That's just my opinion, though. Now, that's still updating and verifying. So I don't know if I would really want to run this right now. I might have to wait. What I could do is talk about Ryzen 4. Okay. Can a Ryzen 5 1600 go to 4 gigahertz? That depends on the silicon lottery, as they say. Some people might be able to get 4 gigahertz. They probably definitely could if they had a 1600X. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. But with a 1600, remember, it's a cheaper processor because they're basically the less superior, inferior chips from the 1600X are a little better caliber, and that's why they can start at a higher baseline. With my experience, went to 3.9 gigahertz. Not 4 gigahertz, but that's still really darn good. That's 21.8% boost over stock. 21%. Actually, it was like 22% boost. That's really good. So I was happy with it. The AIO coolers that I used, when I used a standard AIO that was a Thermaltake, basically I was getting 3.6 to 3.8 stable. When I used the A240R, a very cool cooler, I got 3.9, which is great. The highest I've gotten. Most AIO coolers will give you about 3.6 to 3.8. Now, if you're going with a 3 rad cooler, that's 3 fans, you could probably get 3.9 with that. Overall, games were running very stable with 3.9 overclock. And I'm going to go over the burn test, kind of like a brief time-lapse type thing of the Intel burn test with 3.9 to show you what you should get. And you really want to run the burn test. You also want to play games for more than 10 minutes. You want to play games for like an hour to make sure they work and your system doesn't crash. Because if your system crashes, you might think it's the video card, but it's probably the CPU if you're overclocking this, and that's what you get. If it just suddenly like stops working, it's probably the CPU. So what would happen is I'd be playing a game for 10 to 15 minutes, and then my computer would just shut down. I tried all different settings on my video card, and it ended up, until I changed the CPU, that fixed the problem. So it was the CPU overclock that was the issue. I did not pass the Intel burn test with 4 gigahertz. We kind of saw it wouldn't even go to 4 gigahertz and boot up even solid, which, you know, sucks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, it depends. I was using a 1.425 volt overclock voltage. If you have any recommendation for me, please let me know. I didn't want to go higher than that based on what I've seen on Reddit, and AMD also giving advice not to go past that, so I respect that. If you want to go higher and go against AMD, sure. But, you know, you might be buying a new processor, so. Which, if the new ones are as good as they say, maybe you have an excuse. But in conclusion, going from 3.2 to 3.9 is a 22% boost in improvement. I'm very happy with it. I think that's amazing. Wow, that's awesome. So it wasn't my goal. I didn't meet my goal, unfortunately, but I'm very happy with a 3.9. Second place at the Olympics is still the Olympics. Like, you're still a winner. I'm still really happy with that. Alright, this is the Intel burn test. It had 10 tests that ran at about 14 seconds each, which is a 3.9 gigahertz overclock. So this is what you want to see, a successful Intel burn test. So yeah, that's really it. Thanks for watching Enter the PC. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please like the video, hit the thumbs up button, and or subscribe to the channel. So thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.